That's a life of a fisherman you wouldn't understand. Something you can't feel on dry land. Gotta get your arms way up in a cage and set the hook on smallmouth bass, and then you'll understand. Gotta get your hands on a Shimano reel and a G-Loom that's trying to bet you like what you feel. Step on the deck, give it the world. Hello, welcome to my world.
What is going on, all of you Facebook Live and YouTube Live fishing freaks? It's been a hot week. Fish tournament this weekend. We'll talk about that in just a second. JR and I went to a private pond and put several fish in his pond, which talk about that in just a second. Maybe we got some people on here that maybe know a little bit more than we do.
Highly likely.
Highly guaranteed that they know more than I do about pond management. But got some new updates on the 10 rig Reno. Just released one of those videos today. Was it today? It might have been yesterday. I've been swamped. I'm gonna check it out here. I think it was yesterday I released that video. Was dealing with the what is up here? Oh, today's video that it was yesterday, because today was the day that I released. JR, I'm getting some wild feedback on your end. Like I'm hearing myself talk. I don't know what's going on with it.
Try.
Fishing a. Hello? Hello? Yep, I believe that fixed it.
It did?
Yep.
Maybe if I go way down or something.
I think it fixed it.
Okay.
I don't hear it anymore.
Woohoo!
But yeah, so I released a video today talking about fishing a micro tournament. We'll talk about that in just a second. But yesterday, the video was the episode 4 of the 10 rig Reno. Couple of things I've realized over the last few weeks, posting videos every day. There are a few things that you can just absolutely guarantee, without a shadow of a doubt, will cause people to get up at arms, and I have no clue why it is. One of the major crazy things that I see people talking about right now is I'm doing this 10 rig Reno, which, by the way, guys, this boat's a 1988. The motor is a 1985. Like, we're not talking about top of the line stuff here. Like, it's really an awesome boat for what it is. All right. So when I was trying to get it started the other day, I didn't hook water up to it. Just for the simple fact is, like, I don't want to waste water trying to get a boat that may not run running. I could have put it in a bucket of water. Bucket of water would have had to been full. But one of the things that I've noticed that just gets people absolutely bonkers on the internet about fishing is the fact that if you start a motor, an outboard motor, or I guess an inboard outboard, without water hooked up to it, for even just a split second, people absolutely go out of their way to tell you you're an idiot. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. I don't care. You guys are not boat experts. And here's the thing. This water pump in this boat, probably 30 years old, at least. It's going to be replaced anyway. Guy was like, "Oh, you just cook the impeller, man. Don't worry about it. Just keep it cranking." I was like, "Who are you, bud? Who hurt you? Like, go back to your mom's basement and yell meatloaf, and I'll do my thing, and we'll put a new water pump in it. But if it takes 30 seconds of a boat running, it wasn't even 30 seconds, it was like 10 seconds. Of course, it was cranking over for a minute or so. But when it fired up, I turned it directly off and then put water to it. And the guy acted like I just burnt the entire motor up. Like, if it takes less than 10 seconds for a water pump impeller to melt, then it was junk anyway. Let her slack in the house.
Pretty cool that it started, though, honestly. I mean, that's impressive.
Dude, the more I've been posting on TikTok, it's getting some traction on TikTok, which is crazy. I think people really like it on there because it's a series, and I keep posting videos about it daily. And if you want to see the long form of it, it's obvious on YouTube. You can see actually there'll be a new video coming out tomorrow about it. But if you want to see, short stuff, it's on TikTok. But there's a lot of people that are claiming that little Yamaha motor that's on there is one of the most bulletproof motors on the planet. So,
Sounds
I mean,
weird.
it's an 85 model
Me too.
motor. Yeah, I'm an 84, bud. 84 is the best year. Um,
Dad
takes
joke.
a long time to, but again, as you said, it's a carbureted engine. I didn't have to clean the carburetors, knock on wood, yet. I may eventually. Um, so I'm sure you guys are aware of what I'm talking about, this 10 rig Renault. My neighbor has been out of the loop. I really did steal his boat, and that was a true story. But I've been working on this thing for several weeks. He's been back from vacation for a week or so, and I didn't want to like go to jail, so I went down and told him that I had his boat and told him what I was doing with it, and he is absolutely more than thankful, which is awesome. He actually just bought a 24-volt lithium battery for the trolling motor today. I'm gonna be putting my old 24-volt Minn Kota Fortrex on there. I'm gonna be putting 8-gauge wire to the trolling motor to the new battery. I have one. We're gonna put an Odyssey battery that I have in there as a starting battery. I've tested everything out, man. The last video I've rewired the whole boat. The bilge pump works. The live well pump works. All of the navigation lights. I had to fix the trailer lights. Like, it's a legit boat. My goal is fish a derb out of that thing next week. Maybe like next Thursday with marathon or something. Um, but I want to get out and try it out first because I'm not going to go just like jump into a derby and not have have a round on it. But maiden voyage definitely going to be. The battery's not going to be here until Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday, I think. But actually, let's see.
I was going to say that they're on it right now, so it might come quicker than you think.
Well, I'm sure this battery's coming from China actually because of how cheap it was. It's not stacked in America. He said it would be in the 14th, which is Monday. But I have a couple extra batteries. We'll do the old. I always get them confused. Series, I believe. In series, it's 24 volt. 212 volt. In series is 24 volt. I have 3 batteries. One for the trolling, or one for the starting, 2 for trolling. We'll get it going. Check it out.
Smallmouth in the river. You know what I'm
And
going to say, Tyler? What are you going to say?
JR was going to say a drop shot.
Yes,
Um,
I am going to say drop shot.
crankbait, spinnerbait, crankbait like a 1.5, something like a Type R if it's kind of muddy, it's got some rattle to it. Top water, buzz bait. Don't go a big giant buzz bait, something like 1/4 ounce, 3/16 if you got it. Around grass this time of year, especially on the Greenup pool right now, there's a lot of grass. There's a ton of rain in our area, and first and foremost, my heart goes out to those folks down in Texas, especially
It's
man.
awful, man.
That Camp Mystic stuff has me tore up. Just like I can't even watch it. It's terrible. Like 30 some
Me
people
neither.
missing.
I mean, for the water to raise that fast in like a half hour is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I would say if I were going to throw anything on the river to catch smallmouth right now, it would definitely be a smaller crankbait. Again, 1.5 or smaller. 1.0, man. If you can get a shad collared 1.0, it is absolutely fire. Again, spinnerbait around, and again around grass a lot of times. There's a lot of grass in the Greenup pool right now. A little bit of water coming up. But smallmouth are very few and far between on the Greenup pool right now for some reason. I have no clue why. You can catch a few. Used to be they were dominant. You go and catch 20 smallmouth a day. They would be 8 to 10 inches long. You catch some 12 to 14 inches long, nice size smallmouth of the river. Now it's been predominantly dominated, in my opinion, by spotted bass. You catch a lot more spots than you do largemouth or smallmouth on the river, especially in the Greenup pool, which kind of brings me back to this pond issue that JR's got. And it could be the fact that it's just shocked some of them, and we took them out of a deeper lake and put them. I don't know, JR, how deep is your lake? Like 15 foot, 12 foot?
I'd say it's probably 10, 11, 12, something like that. It doesn't get. I don't think it's deeper than 12.
So we again went to a private pond. Buddy of mine that I knew, we caught a few fish, and we took him back to his pond. My first question for you folks out there that may know more than I do, and I haven't done any research on this, but will a spotted bass live in a pond? I don't know that I've ever. I mean, you can catch them in lakes, obviously. You go to Grayson, you can catch them. You go to the river, you can catch them. But there's water flowing through there all the time. Will a spotted bass live in a stagnant pond, for one, and two? Um, we put several bass in his pond, and again, it came from a private pond, so there's really no limit. But we put several fish in there, and two out of the amount of fish we put in there, I don't feel like it's a bad deal. But he's found two fish floating in the last couple of days.
It's been so hot. I mean, today was a little bit under, but I mean, the past week has been 90 degrees during the day, probably on average. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But I think what we need to do is we need to start setting some minnow traps, which I think I have 4 of them here at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Go set them in some creeks. Yeah, go get some and put them in the creeks. We also need to take it over there to the game farm. Put some in there.
Yeah, I want to get some more little guys too, more bluegill.
We had Jason Kenner on last week talking about F1s that have been or going to be introduced into Kentucky here very soon, which I think is great. Paintsville Lake is going to be one of the first ones around the Kentucky area to get them, which is the closest one to us. Eventually, they want to move it over to Yatesville. I think they'll go really well in Yatesville as well too. And he mentioned last week that they turned down like a $2,500 or a $5,000 grant from a company that was for like artificial reefs and stuff within Yatesville, and they had to turn it down because apparently Yatesville doesn't have the, I guess, infrastructure. I don't know if it's like, I'd say it's like pontoons, stuff that you can drop the stuff in. Don't know that to be true, but it's pretty crazy that happens. But it was a really great conversation. So if you missed last week's live, you should definitely go back and check that out. There's a lot of awesome information there. And again, I keep talking to you guys about it, but if you guys are not a part of Jason Kenner and those folks group over on Facebook, it is Anglers for Improving Opportunities. And again, it's not just for Kentucky. Most of it is centered around Kentucky, but there's a lot of information on there that I find really interesting. Like he's holding polls and stuff the whole time right now, trying to figure out what the kind of like what the best krill limit or what limit you have. And he posted one today that really had me thinking. And it was really, I don't know how so it's no minimum size limit, which means you can catch one up 4 inches long and take it out of there, or you can catch one 8 pounds and take it out of there. And it was actually proposed by one of the members of the group, and the rest of that was no minimum size limit, meaning that you could, it doesn't matter what time of the year, you have your limit, you could catch, fish that are 4 inches or 4 pounds. Now, he said in the hot months, like June through September, you could only keep 3 fish over 15 inches. So if you have in Kentucky, you can have 6 fish. Now that's your daily limit of largemouth bass. So you could have 3 under and 3 over, and then the rest of the year you can keep 5 over, right? So you can keep 6 fish, so it'd be 5 15 inches and 1 under 12 or whatever. So I think what's your thoughts on that, JR?
Man, I mean, there's just so many daggone ways to do it. I would have to get into some research on it to really look into what would be the best way to do it, because hopefully the DNR is actually using studies and science behind all this rather than just kind of arbitrarily doing things. But I think it's people that, like Jason, that are really making people pay attention it is what needs to be done. I just, you know, I think taking out these smaller bass is going to be a big part of it. Like, the unders tournament you were talking about, I think was a great idea. And I was actually talking to my buddy about it, and he was like, "What are you talking about, an unders tournament?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's because they've got the new slot limit." And he was like, "Oh, that makes sense. Let the big bass grow, get rid of some of the smaller ones that are taking their food source." So, man, it's kind of a novel thing in some senses, but I think it's going to work.
Yeah, and kind of alluding to that point there, there's an issue with that, and let's talk about that really quick. So those tournaments are awesome, right? And just what Jared was talking about is a tournament video that I posted on YouTube talking about fishing and micro tournament, all unders, and I caught the fire out of fish on a Blue Rock custom tackle triple threat jig. Which by the way is available at Borders right now. They have 1099s. They have all kind of stuff over there. And last time I was over there, it looked like people had picked through a lot of that stuff. So I'm sure they'll be ordering, some more stuff from Jesse at Blue Rock. But so let's dive back into that slot limit. Again, your daily catch limit of largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass is 6 fish in Kentucky. So let's just say that JR and I were in a boat on Saturday, which we weren't. I fished by myself. We could only keep 12 fish. It doesn't matter how it goes. And so in order to really make a difference on an under tournament, everybody there would have to take their bass out of there, which doesn't happen. Everybody catches these unders and turns them right back loose. Now let's look at the legality sides of this. When you could say, okay, well, how come, is it legal for you as like a tournament director? Let's just say that I go out to Grayson and I hold an under tournament and I say, okay, guys, into this tournament, I'm going to put all these fish in my live well and I'm going to take them to a private pond. I'm going to take them to Yatesville. I'm going to take them to somewhere else and I'm going to get rid of these fish. Well, a couple of things arises there. One, you are legally not allowed to move fish from one private body of water in Kentucky to another. I'm sorry, a public. You can't move a fish from public bodies of water to another public body of water. For example, if you were to take them out of Grayson and put them in like Sims Creek, which is in Ohio, but let's just say that there's a creek in Kentucky. If you put those in the creek, you are, you're breaking the law at that point, which is crazy. So how do you get around that? Well, you could take your 6 fish per day and put them in a private pond, which is totally fine. You could eat them, totally fine. If you were heartless, you could just kill them, I guess. But it's only 6 fish per person in a boat. So if JR and I were fishing together, we could have 12 fish. That is like peeing on a forest fire, my friend. Jesus. And if you were like the tournament director that said, okay, everybody's going to put their fish in my live well, I'm going to go take them to a private pond, which is going to think about, that seems like the best case scenario, right? Because you're getting all those fish out of there, going to the same place. So it's going to be a private pond. You're still only allowed 6. So let's just say that you have 30. You're 24 over your limit. So if you get stopped by a game warden or they see you putting that stuff in there, they're going to ticket you for being, 5 times your legal limit. So it's really tricky and like crazy how it happens. So if you guys are taking fish out of Grayson, make sure that if you're putting them in a body of water that is public, or I'm sorry, that's private, make sure that's the case, and make sure you're not taking more than your limit out of there. It seems like right now, they would kind of do something around that. Like, I don't know if you could call and get special permission. Like, hey, we're having this unders tournament. Here's what we're going to do with them. We're going to take them to a private pond. We're going to take them out of here. You might be able to get that. I'm not sure. I've never tried it. But if you're doing stuff like this, be sure that you're being above the law when you're doing this. But please, if you're fishing Grayson Lake or any lake at this point, one of the things we have, we're talking about Jason last week, like, and myself included, I've kept 10 times the amount of bass this year alone than I have in the last 20 years. I just don't have any use for them. I go walleye fishing in the summertime. I go crappie fishing. I go perch fishing. Like, I have plenty of fish to eat. I would much rather eat those three types of fish than largemouth or smallmouth spotted bass. So that's why I don't keep them. But we are now, I think we're catch and release has got us backed into a corner, especially like at Grayson. So take those fish out of there, put them in a pond, eat them, do whatever you can, but take your limit.
I don't see what's wrong with it, especially, I mean, I guess they don't want to put into a public area because of the potential of transferring some type of parasite or, what have you. The other issue is, in a lake with a slot that they're obviously trying to encourage people to do this. Why don't they have events to promote this? You know, when does the DNR care about this the way that anglers care about it? That's kind of what you know, I feel like them putting a slot limit in is a big step, but them getting actually invested and working with us, I think would be huge.
Yeah, like
And
LRA says
maybe,
here.
we can reach out to them and maybe get them more involved. Maybe they just haven't had the avenue.
Yeah, I'm with LRA here. It's definitely nice to see a DNR, and this is all
For sure.
Kentucky, which is crazy because obviously I'm from Ohio. I live in Southern Ohio. I fish mostly in Kentucky just because there are better lakes there. Because of this reason, Kentucky DNR have like they do a lot better job managing the aquatic areas. I will say Ohio DNR does a really good job of like whitetail management and stuff like that, which is, why there's 230 class deer killed in Ohio yearly. But when you look at the fact that they're not doing anything, you're seeing the difference. Tyler Williams in the house. What's up, man? But I think looking at from a DNR's perspective, you have to really, I don't know. Another thing is I forgot to mention, if you give fish to somebody that's live, or if even if they're not live, let's just say that you go out and catch 5 15-inch bass from Grayson and you take them out of there and you have them in a sack, they're on ice. If you transfer those fish to another person in their car, they better have a fishing license if they get busted. That's crazy. So I mean, I understand where they're trying to keep order. It's really tough to police those areas and all that stuff all the time. But one thing that I will tell you is that since they've put a slot limit on Grayson, what I've seen and with my own two eyes is folks like myself. There was several people at that marathon tournament we went to that took bass out of there, all unders. We turned the over 15-inch bass loose, and then obviously the slot fish. But 11 and 7/8 and lower, there was many people that took fish out of there. I think there was like 57 fish that were taken out of that one tournament. We caught like 49 fish this past weekend. I was only able to take 6 out of there because that was my limit. I don't know if anybody else took any more out of there, but it'd been nice to be able to put those in my live well and take them out of there. But again, illegal, which is crazy. And it might be something we reach out to the DNR and ask, even if they sanction an event, right? Like even if they take them, right? Because they've been electrofishing that Grayson Lake. I've seen them out there twice now, and one of the guys told me, and I don't know how true this is. I wouldn't imagine he was going to lie to me, but he told me that they electrofished it 1 week and they took 5,000 fish out of there that were under 12 inches long. 5,000.
That's unreal.
And it was like a week-long process, and they were back out there again. But the fish in Grayson right now are. You could go out there and throw a wacky rig or something like that finesse jig that Jesse makes, that triple threat jig or a Ned rig or whatever you want to throw, something like a little spotty from Picasso, whatever. You could catch 100 bass a day if there were 2 people in a boat very easily. I caught 35 or 40 the other day by myself. I ended up catching a couple overs, which is exactly how it happens. The very first fish I hooked the morning of the tournament was about 3.5 pounds. Another guy out there that I know, Charlie Hewlett, he ended up catching about a 4.5 or a 5.5 pound bass. Couldn't weigh that in.
Of course, in your micro tournament. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully we see the direct action and benefit of this by seeing more quality bass come out of the Dead Sea Grayson, which I can't tell you how many people have told me or given that lake that nickname. And with them removing that kind of number, holy cow, maybe we will see a big change in a matter of months.
Yeah, I don't know. And Larry, that's I'm trying to do some research here on Google. If it's online, it's got to be true. I think it's illegal to move them from a public place to anywhere other than your own pond. So putting them into a local park is illegal. Putting them into a pond you occasionally fish is illegal, and putting them into another public watershed is also illegal.
Yeah, so mostly they don't want you to move fish anywhere other than to a place that you own, it sounds like.
Right? Yeah.
But
I mean, I think it goes
I
back
can
to the
understand that. I don't want somebody throwing a crappie in my pond, and then the crappie taking over. So I get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, according to that research article I just looked at, which probably, is just a 30, it was on Ohio game fishing community thing. So it looks like I would refrain from that if you were, unless you're taking it to your own pond. But I will say that Kentucky is doing a great job, especially on our area. Again, I think, as we alluded to last week with Jason, I feel like that Paintsville Lake right now is becoming one of the best fisheries that we have in this area. I wish it was a little closer. It's an hour and 15 minutes from here, which is pretty good haul, one direction to catch some bass. But I'm going to go there here soon. I think Jason and I are going to get together and he's going to show me some spots up there to catch some fish. I'm sure there'll be a video made about it. But if I have the ability to go within the next 5 years, 1 hour from here, and catch a 8 to 10 to 12 pound bass,
I'll
I
go.
mean, I feel like that I don't even go to Grayson or Yatesville anymore. Like I just go there. And I feel like it's going to drive the economy up. And I feel like that you're going to see that Paintsville is going to overtake the amount of fish that it takes to win a tournament. It's going to overtake Yatesville fairly quickly. They're already catching some big fish in there. They
And
turn
the weights for casting for kids were higher at Paintsville than they were at Douglas. I mean, to me, that's kind of wild. Like, it's like I remember talking to somebody about it. Actually, Chris, the guy who runs the tournament, and it was like, that's common knowledge. So it's like, dang man, I need to fish a lot more at Paintsville. Maybe when it's not so dang hot.
Yeah, Cave Run is churning out some giant bags too. They had like a 19-pound bag just the other day, like last weekend, in these hot
Really?
hot temperatures. Yeah, it's crazy. Nolan Lake, plumb full. And that's the deal. But I think, like, I don't know how you get around that. Like, that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Like, on Jason's page and the English for Improving Opportunities Facebook page, he said that somebody proposed what he thought was the best slot limit of all, and I kind of have to agree that it does make a lot more sense than most of them. It was like there's no slot limit or no minimum size limit, so you can take any kind of fish, any out of there that you want. Certain times of the year, like May through September or June through September in the hotter months, you can only keep 3 fish over 15 inches, and the rest of them have to be under, or you could keep 5 fish over 15 inches any other time. So you have in Kentucky, you could have 6 fish, you'd have 1 under and 5 over. Makes a lot more sense. And what you're talking about there, Mark, that kind of does away with that, right? People, if you can get those people to take those fish out of there. And I think that's the problem with anglers right now is that we have so much fun catching them. But that's why I mentioned last week that's the reason I don't deer hunt anymore, man. I love the taste of venison. I love backstrap. I love deer jerky. It's just awesome. I love it. But when you kill a deer, that's when the work starts. And it's just like, if you go out catching fish, if you go out to guarantee yourself that you're going to go out and catch some crappie and clean them, whatever, that's okay. You got the mindset for it. But if you only have 6 fish and they're 12 inches or under, that's like one good fish sandwich. And you're gonna get you're going to get your fillet knife out and you're going to have to fillet these fish or, give them away after you fillet them. It's a big to do, and I can get it where some people just don't do it. But if you could get people to take fish out of there, their legal limit of those fish, I think that does away from what you're talking about, Mark, there, that that slot limit fish doesn't become needed. Now, we did mention last week too, is there's been studies that kind of allude to this, is that the fish that we catch, let's just say that we go out and have an unders tournament. Again, there was like 49 or 50 some fish caught the other day in this tournament. What happens if those 49 or 50 fish are the most aggressive fish? Those are the catchable fish of that lake. Whereas there's 50 more bass that are not biting, that are not eating. They know, they're smart. They're not doing anything like that. Are we doing our lakes a disservice by taking the fish out of there that actually will bite and we can catch? Because I don't care if the lake is absolutely plumb full of fish. If they're not capable of being caught, it's going to suck too. Hey, what's up, brother? I saw Fred Redfern in there. El Ray, these guys, man, I tell you, Rob Reynolds, Gary, I appreciate you, Larry Slack, appreciate you guys weekly. Not only coming and hanging out with us during Tuesdays, but you guys commenting on my videos all the time and watching it means a lot. I see the same folks like you guys out there watching my videos and commenting. So thank you guys for that. It does mean a whole lot. Right now, I did just break 6,000 subscribers the other day, so pretty pumped up about that. It's gradually been going up slowly. I'm at 6,051 right now. Pretty daggone cool. 7,000 soon, hopefully.
I want to see. Have you guys seen this yet?
Oh, I have saw that. I saw it today. It's on an ad now, bro. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, the KGB three-way deal.
Yeah.
How
To
does
me, this is like ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fake.
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean,
it does look like it's swimming good. If that's not the third, if that's not the same bait that they just like superimposed over each other 3 times.
yeah, I mean, come on, was a $60 bait? We charge $180 for that thing or what? But I don't know. I got like a billion people on my Instagram talking about it, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like, gosh, there's a hilarious video of one of those northern guys throwing an A-rig with chatterbaits on it. It's so funny. And he's like, oh, this is the secret to catching all the big fish.
Oh, hold on one second there, Mark. We'll get to that in just a second. Dale City caught 75 or so smallmouth Thursday night, Cumberland River, downtown Nashville, night fishing. That's awesome.
That's cool.
8 smallmouth between 16 and 19 and a half. Lost 4 that we've seen 5+ pound close to the boat. That is crazy. That's kind of tough. I have seen the wing fluke. I think it's
got them in Borders.
Yeah, they do have them. What's the donkey rig where you have like multiple flukes?
Oh, dude, I love a donkey rig. I don't even like to talk about it.
It's a pain in the rear end to tie. Holy crap.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like casting a Carolina rig too. You gotta it's not as easy, that's kind of the big benefit of throwing a fluke to me. But honestly, Mark, to me, there are so many of these, jig head minnow baits out right now, and it's like, man, you can take almost any drop shot bait and market it as a jig head minnow bait, and it's kind of, I don't mean to sound negative about it at all. I think it's a good idea. You add the wings on it, and it becomes the buoyancy changes so that it floats more flat, and yes, that's cool. But I'm really tired of all of the innovation in fishing going into jig head minnow fishing. Like, let's be smarter. Let's come up with something that is, sure, maybe it's forward facing sonar. That'd be great. But something that is more innovative. I feel like, ICAST is coming up. I really hope there's something to make it not so stagnant. I feel like the last 2 years of bait innovation has been stagnant. Like I'm somebody that I love soft plastics and I love all the new designs and Crush City, honestly, some of their designs are, redos of other baits, but at least they're coming out with something new, something fairly innovative in some of their designs. I just hope that other companies follow suit and quit making the jig head minnow over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that I used to travel to ICAST every year to see all the new stuff, see all the new Shimano stuff and all the new baits that come out. And you could, man, like you used to go to ICAST and you would come home with absolute loads of free baits. People were just, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out.
Yeah.
How much you think of this? Now it's like it's a very tight knit group of people. And as JR mentioned, like it's all, and Brad at Borders is really kind of frustrated with it too because it's really cut down on the amount of sales that people like him can do because there's only so many, sonar minnows that you can sell. I mean, for example, if you look at some of my top favorite ones, like the Berkeley Drip Minnow or the Drip Swimmer or the Jackal Drift Fry, or you go into the Rapala stuff. I mean, there's so many. But if you look at I mean, I think like the Crud Crawl and whatever that other one there they have, I think that's the first real like creature style bait that I've seen come out new in the last couple of years that's not been forward facing sonar specific.
Yeah. Well, what your caller? That's kind of why I was talking about Crush City. They came out with a new creature bait not too long ago. Um,
We got the Bronco Bug and speaking
I'll
of
look it
which,
up.
Rob, uh, no, that's the deal, man. I'm like, if I was only allowed to fish one bait the rest of my life, it would definitely be a Texas rig. 100%, 100.
Hedgehog
Next
is the
week,
name.
I'll share the video that Rob sent me last week. Um, yeah, looks like the mantis.
Heck yeah, man! I love that mantis. Caught a lot of fish
But
on that mantis.
yeah, so Rob bought some of my spinner baits a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago, and then I ended up giving him a couple more the other day when I saw him over at the high school. He's on the crew that's putting the roof on my new building. I gave him 3 the other day. He sent me a video of an absolute hammer bass that he caught on it, and then turned that fish loose, and then made the exact same cast the next cast and caught like a 4-pounder. He caught like probably close to 10 pound of fish in 2 casts on one of my spinner baits, which is awesome, man. That's what it's all about. But it's
That was your
probably
day,
more.
man. Everybody has a day. That was your day.
Yeah, yeah, my days are few and far between.
No doubt.
This past weekend, we were talking about fish to micro unders only at Grayson. It was actually so much fun, man. It was like a breath of fresh air for me as a tournament fisherman. And I went into that thinking that I didn't have I pulled out only spinning rods for the first time in like 15 years of my life. I got a wacky rig. I got out that Blue Rock triple threat. I had a sonar minnow in case I saw some swimming. And what was the other one I had? Oh, the Nico rig. So I pulled those 4 rods out and I fished most of the day with those rods. And I don't ever have that opportunity because I'm a power fisherman and I'd much rather have a casting rod in my hand. But it was, matter of fact, somebody commented on one of my videos this past weekend when I was fishing at Grayson the other day. He's like, it's so weird to see you having a spinning rod in your hands, which is true. Like I don't use them that often. I got some of the best on the planet. Like I have like 5 or 6 Interex Plus rods in my boat that are spinning rods, and I just don't ever use them. So that was a cool deal. But the it was so much fun because I went not looking for big fish, man. I knew that I could only catch fish, roughly 12 inches and smaller. I threw smaller baits. I looked in areas for smaller fish. I looked for grouped up areas of fish. And That's it's what it was. I ended up I probably caught 30 bass, 3 overs. Had the greatest thing about it is, man, I had 5 fish for like 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds.
And smallest fish.
I did have the smallest fish.
Dude, that's so funny. And you got like $45 for smallest fish. That's so cool. Dale, these are
Yeah.
all great baits, man. Trick shads. That's probably the original drop shot that I used back when I started. I was a big Z-Man guy. I mean, I still am. Z-Man's great. You can't beat their Elastec stuff. Cinna Jerk Shad's probably the #1 overall. Well, maybe not anymore. Jighead Minnow bait, great bait. And then Baby Z2, golly, it's hard to argue against that. You know, they have the Elastec really from Z-Man on that. And I'm a big believer in Z-Man as well, especially on drop shots. You just get that nice, you know, floating natural look. That's there's so many baits out there that you can drop shot. I think I have like all of my, there's such a mass of Texas rig baits and there's such a mass of drop shot baits. I feel like, well, you can use it for other things, but between the two, I mean, gosh, it's I think it's so much fun to keep up with all of these soft plastics in those two categories.
Yep. So I posed a question on my last video that I released today about that micro fishing tournament. I missed a bluegill, and if you guys, so I'm trying to do a better job of understanding. I know when a bluegill bites my stuff, man. It's like, you know, Machine Gun Kelly, like, you know, it's like hammers it, and I just can't get over the fact that I just set the hook every time. And normally what happens, they just have a hold of one of the appendages on your trailer or whatever you're using, and when you set the hook, you rip that trailer off. You rip that appendage off.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very
It is a
OCD, and
claw.
like I mean, is anybody out there like me where if I see like a crawl bait that I have as a trailer and I'm missing a crawl or a pincher, I will change that whole bait. You know, I'm just kind of OCD, but I try, you know, just to reiterate the point that it probably does not matter. As I was throwing a net baits Paca, or it was a Paca chunk, and or what do they call it? It's a, I think it's a Paca chunk. It's the very small baby Paca chunk, I think is what it is, on that finesse jig. Well, I had a bluegill eat one of them off, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep fishing, and I ended up catching 3 or 4 bass with it. So it kind of, you know, it's just all in my head, I think. But when I decided that, I was like, you know what, I have some Elastec baits in here that they can't do that to. So I swapped over to a TRD crawl on the back of that thing from Z-Man, and I literally don't think I changed my trailer one time the rest of the day, which was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, if they're biting, it's beautiful. It's just sometimes, you know, you wonder, oh, are they not biting it because of the Elastec? I'm
Yeah,
with
Corey,
you on
I'm
that
with
too,
you, man.
Mark, man. I have an unreal amount of soft plastics. I've got way too many.
The
But
fairy wand, the egg beater, spinning rods. Man, you've been walleye fishing lately. I know you had them in your hand. You had to.
man, pound for pound, they catch more fish.
I've caught more fish on a spinning rod in my life, no doubt, because I've been
yeah.
to Lake St. Clair for the last 10 years of my life, up there 3 or 4 times a year, catching 100 a day. But I fished a spinning rod since I've been knee high to a grasshopper, so I've definitely put more fish in the boat with a spinning rod. Nowadays, if I pick one up, I'm throwing a sonar minnow, and that is not the mentality that I want to get into. Oh man, sorry. Let's see here. Let's do a little question and answer sesh here and see if we can
Oh,
answer.
fancy.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh,
There's all kind of new stuff on here, man.
shoot, man. I'm lucky to log in right.
Yep. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We've been on here about 45 minutes. You guys know the deal. We're about 45 minutes on here, and we're gonna hop off. Be back here the same bat time, same bat channel. do have a video coming out tomorrow of the 10 rig Reno version or video 5. The trip day 7 or 8. I can't remember what day I'm on. I think day 8. So Vaughn, to that, according to, there's a video online. I'll have to find it, and it made sense to me. If you think about like the quote unquote poop baits, right? You think about a Ned rig. I always thought that it looked like goose poop, but they claim,
That's
and
the
this is, if it's online, it's got to be true. But they claim that bass, like they done some research somehow. I don't know if they were like, they would drop maybe, I don't, crawdads in a pond or whatever, but they found that fish predominantly liked crawdads that didn't have either of their pinchers. So that's why the Ned rig bait is so, good, because it looks like a cylindrical crawdad without its pinchers. Now, you could think about something like a Hellgrammite or something like that does have some appendages, but that's kind of in the same deal too. But I mean, I don't know. I think that, dude, I have a hard time thinking about fish. If you look at like the PETA route, they're like, oh, these fish have, nerve endings in their mouth, and they feel when you get hooked just like you do. Have you seen these jokers try to eat each other? Like spines through their mouth and stuff? I don't think they're feeling that. Why would they do it over and over and over again?
So the original guy, Ned Keed, is the one that I saw a video of him talking about that, and that's how he came up with the Ned rig. That he thought it looked like a crawdad with both claws missing. For what it's worth, catches the crap out of fish. I know that.
Pop R and spinning rod, I'm with you. Fluke on a spinning rod. And again, a wacky rig, Nico rig. Some people, like, I've seen some weirdos throw like drop shots on a casting rod. No, I don't think that's
Power
like
shot.
It's like kissing your sister, man. Tastes the same, but that's not right.
It is kind
It's
of
like it's like throwing a buzz bait on a spinning rod.
Yeah.
I've done that though. I cannot lie. Those little squeak buzz baits the Tackle Box used to make, which, by the way, guys, I've been inundated with the amount of people asking me about those things, and the good news is that I just ordered 1,000 wires, 1,000 hooks, and 1,000 blades. So they are coming in mass quantities in the next couple weeks. They will be everywhere. You'll be able to pick them up at the dollar store. They'll be at Big Lots. Tackle Box is going to reopen to sell them. They're going to be everywhere. When I make these 1,000 of them, I won't be able to give them away. So that's the deal.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see y'all catching your fish in deeper water or shade cover close to the bank? Been finding bass more shallow myself. Shade lines are huge, man. You got it right there. I love shade lines. I went to St. Clair, and man, finding shade lines where you can is a big deal.
Yeah, so my goal this summer is to become a better offshore angler without looking at LiveScope. I want to look at my maps. I want to find things. I want to go there. I want to find fish that are offshore. And what I mean offshore is I could be fishing anywhere from 20 to 50 foot deep. And I think 50 foot is my max without using LiveScope. I've caught fish in 80 foot of water at Del Hollow. True story. It did happen. I can show you a video of it. Saw a fish 80 foot of water through a half-ounce freaking sonar minnow at it and ended up catching 80 foot of water. Crazy. That's the thing about throwing LiveScope. I'm not catching those fish. Those fish may have not ever been caught in 80 foot of water, but maybe probably down there.
Everything else down there is angler fish.
Yeah.
They got their light going on and they see that pop down, shoot.
So, recently the tournament that I fished at Grayson, it was weird because I was fishing the bottom, from shallow, right? I was fishing the bank, beating the banks up. I did go out and try to find there's a flat that I know about. Went out there and threw a Carolina rig for about 10 minutes, could not get bit. It's in about 20 foot of water, 25 foot of water. Normally they're loaded on there this time of year, was not. But one of the things I noticed this past week, especially with these smaller fish, is that I could take that little blue rock triple threat jig and I could throw it out there, and when it hit the bank or when it hit the water right at the bank, I could let it sink all the way to the bottom, and I could fish that back to the boat just like a normal jig. I mean, just picking it up off the bottom a little bit here and there, and I would get bit every so often. But I learned that those fish, I think this past weekend, they were suspended somewhere about 50 feet off of the bank, anywhere from 10 to 14 foot of water, because I could throw that jig out there, and when it hit the bottom, I could just start reeling it. And with those TRD crawl, it has pinchers on it just like a crawdad, and they were swimming, man. When I was swimming that jig back, and I'm not talking about like a swim jig, I was just literally swimming it like a crankbait. And I caught 20 bass like that. It got to the point where I wasn't even fishing it like a jig. I would just throw that thing out there, let it hit bottom, and I'd start reeling it. And they were absolutely annihilating it.
Yeah,
I do,
swim jig, man.
I do think that a big bass is going to be deep. I don't think, unless you're talking about earlier or real late at night, if you're talking about a public waterway like Grayson Yatesville, they're going to be deeper, I think. Probably catch numbers shallow. If I'm looking for a big, I'm going deeper. Yes, El Ray, I'm still making spinnerbaits. So I'll have a bunch of those available here soon too. MPFL, yes. Yep, guy follower, a friend of mine on Facebook, Dylan Freeze, is fishing it. There's several people I know.
Sight fishing only. We gotta have some clear waterways.
Yeah. What's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Again, guys, we are about that 50-minute mark. So without further ado, unless you guys have some further questions for us, we're going to hop off here. And again, I do have a video coming out tomorrow talking about the 10 rig Reno Video 5. Ordered some batteries, got the new seat put in it today. Going to rewire the trolling motor, put a new to it trolling motor on there, and 80-pound thrust Fortrex. So that ought to push that boat like 7 miles an hour.
I think a lot of people look for that thermocliner, Fred. That's a good way to kind of determine depth for sure, especially when it's so stinking hot like it is now.
Yeah, for sure. And if you don't know what he's talking about here, I can only speak to the Helix and Solix with Humminbird because that's all I use basically. But on a Solix, what he's talking about is you can actually go to downscan and you want to turn your sensitivity up fairly high. Like I think my sensitivity will go to 20, I think, on my Solix. Put that thing like 17, 18, and you will physically see a point in the water column where it's really, really clear, and then there'll be some, like, it almost looks like mud in the water. And that's going to be the thermocline. And what that is, that's where the warmer water, because again, heat rises, whether that be thermodynamically or aerodynamically. Air goes higher, higher water, hotter water will rise too. So you have that cooler version of water that is lower in the water column. Now, if you have water constantly flowing, like I jumped in the Ohio River this past weekend out there watching the fireworks, it was really crazy. I don't think that there's quite a thermocline in that place because there's so much current coming through it right now. But like you'd be sitting there and the water would be 80 degrees, and then it would be like feel like it was 70. It's huge amounts of like differentiation.
Greenbow.
Yeah, no doubt. They're very few and far between, but Greenbow turns out 8 to 10 pound bass every year. I know of a 8.5 that was caught this year. Or very tough to fish, man, because right now it takes like 2 inches of rain to even put any kind of stain on that lake, which is weird. But there's 10 pounders in there, no doubt. There is absolutely double-digit bass in there. Matter of fact, there was like one that was like 9.7 or 9.8 caught last year. Easy, the biggest bass there. They did catch.
Trout eaters.
Yeah. So, Carter Caves. I don't know. I've never fished Carter Caves actually. I'll have to check that one out.
I fished it. It was like a daggone. It was in bad shape. I'll put it that way. When I heard it used to be a trophy bass lake, I went out on my kayak back in the day, and I remember pretty distinctively because I bought a whopper plopper for the first time, and I caught one little bass on it, and it scared me to death because it totally like sharked it and terrified me. But man, I saw way more carp than I did bass.
Can you wonder if we can put that 10 rig in there? Is that something you can do?
Yeah, we might be able to. It's not very deep.
I don't know. Well, I tell you what, guys, we're gonna hop off here and we'll be back on here same bat time, same bat channel next week, 8:30 on Tuesdays. If you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it if you do so. We don't make a single quarter off of Facebook. So if you're out there watching on Facebook, we are live on YouTube at the same time as well. I would suggest would like to thank you if you would go over there and check that out. And again, if you've already subscribed, which I know a lot of you guys have, I appreciate it. New video coming out tomorrow, 10 rig Reno. Got another video coming out in the next couple of days. I'm going fishing here soon. We'll check out it'll be the 10 rig maiden voyage here soon. But there'll be a lot more stuff coming up, a lot more fishing. So if you guys can, get out there and lean on. We'll see you next time on Another Line.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of On Another Line Live. We truly appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all the amazing folks at home watching week after week. A big thank you goes out to our sponsors, who help make this show possible. Malone's Marine, Borders Sporting Goods, Solar Bat Sunglasses, Picasso Lures, Shimano, and Columbia Sportswear. Their partnership allows us to keep bringing you the content you love. We'll see you next time on Another Line. Until then, get out there and lean on them.